This week we continue our coverage of the aftermath of Hurricane Gustav and its impact on Louisiana agriculture. As you saw here last week, the storm ravaged Louisiana's sugarcane crop in the state's coastal parishes when it made landfall September 1st. But farmers in North Louisiana fared no better. The storm stalled over central Louisiana, dumping between 16 and 20 inches of rain around the areas around Shreveport and particularly Monroe. This week in Louisiana agriculture traveled to the small northeast Louisiana town of Gilbert in the heart of cotton country, where Gustav may have drowned all hopes for a successful cotton harvest. That sound of water rushing by is coming from a cotton field. It's a sickening sound that means profits are being flushed away.
The cotton is really hurting right now.
For cotton grower Ray Young, it's the worst flooding he's seen here along Bayou Mason in more than 50 years.
We'll salvage, maybe, I would guess, hopefully 2/3 of a crop if the water doesn't get any higher. That's kind of what we're hoping for right now.
Hurricane Gustav just kind of camped in some areas, and the areas where it camped and dumped the heaviest rain, this is what you're seeing. You move a couple of miles one way or the other, and you just don't see this type of damage or this type of flooding.
Most of the fields in this area are draining well, but for Earl Carroll to survey his cotton crop, well, that takes some doing. While this may look like one of Louisiana's scenic waterways, it's not. It's actually a cotton field, and 4 feet down there is Earl Carroll's cotton crop. And to get to this cotton field, Carroll has no choice but to travel by boat. And from the bow, things look bad.
It looked pretty good, you know, or before. We had a couple weeks of cloudy weather before this, and before all of it, it looked pretty good. What's not underwater, I guess we'll be able to get out for sure. Who knows about the rest, you know, we'll just have to wait and see.
And it's not just cotton. Corn sits in nearly 2 feet of standing water. Soybeans are turning black under 18 inches of water in this field. All across Franklin Parish, crop quality is sinking fast. From the air, Hurricane Gustav's damage to Louisiana agriculture is abundantly clear. Later that day, the plane carrying Louisiana Farm Bureau Federation President Ronnie Anderson and Louisiana Commissioner of Agriculture and Forestry Dr. Mike Strain landed in Winsboro. Both Anderson and Strain said from the air things do not look good.
This is a very high priority of Governor Jindal. I spoke with him. We had a meeting this morning. We discussed it, and also I discussed it with the President of the United States on Wednesday.
We got to get the water off.
After seeing the flood damage to crops in Gilbert, Anderson and Strain met with more than 150 farmers at Jimmy Sanders Farm Chemical. There, the issue on every farmer's mind: will the 5 disaster programs in the new Farm Bill be enough to help them recover?
And that program is got something called SURE, which is a revenue base. We're looking at the total farm revenue of every place that you have, not by farm number, but every place, every commodity. And that's how we're going to look at if you have a potential eligibility for benefits.
For Earl Carroll, the more pressing issue now is that of dry weather. With cotton harvest just weeks away, he'd much rather be sitting behind the steering wheel of a cotton picker than the throttle of a Yamaha outboard.
I don't know if there's going to be any need to get a picker in here.
The LSU Ag Center has released very preliminary estimates on the damage to Louisiana row crop and aquaculture from Hurricane Gustav. Right now, that number stands at nearly $500 million in losses. Cotton losses stand at $112 million, sugarcane $73 million, soybeans $61 million, corn $46 million, rice $29 million, and sweet potatoes $27 million. Again, these numbers are very, very preliminary. And as a reminder, farmers have until Tuesday, September 16th to buy into at least catastrophic crop insurance coverage or the NAP program. NAP covers non-insured crops such as pecans, livestock forage, crawfish, and some vegetables. Remember, if you don't have every one of your production enterprises covered by either one or both of these insurance programs, you will not be eligible for any assistance under the current Farm Bill. The buy-in cost is $100 per crop per parish. You can take care of all of this by visiting your local parish farm service agency office. Remember, this program is based on total farm revenue, so if you grow it, raise it, or harvest it, you'd better insure it. For more information, you can visit the USDA's website. We've got a link on our website, twilatv.org. We'll link you over.